Have you ever heard strength training is dangerous, that it decreases flexibility, that it wears down your joints, or it's riskier in certain age groups? Well, today I'm going to tackle some of the biggest myths around strength training and why those are myths and what that means for you, regardless of your age, your level, injury, or health history, and how you can utilize strength training to improve your abilities as a golfer, as a human being, your health, resiliency, and robustness, and help reduce injury as well. I'm Dr. J.P. Guidry here, owner of Guidry Golf and Sport, where I provide online and in-person coaching and rehab for golfers and non-golfers alike, helping them get back on the course, improve swing speed, get out of pain, get stronger, fitter, more mobile, and just become better, more resilient human beings. Strength training is a huge part of what I do with my clients, regardless of where they're at, what their history is, their background is, if they're coming to me for rehab or if they're coming to me for performance training. There will always be some degree of strength training in that. And I hear a lot of myths and see a lot of myths out there around strength training. And what I mean by strength training is resistance training, training with heavier weights, heavier loads for lower reps. So that's going to be, let's say, somewhere between 4 to 8, maybe up to 10 reps, and weights that will challenge you in that. And so I hear a lot of myths around that. So today I want to talk about 5 of the biggest myths that I hear around strength training and kind of help debunk those and help you understand why they're myths and why strength training is valuable to you at any age, at any level. So number 1 is just strictly that strength training is dangerous. Yes, injuries can occur with lifting in the gym, but at no higher rate than injuries occur at any sport or any activity. You know, the reality of challenging your body is there's always some risk. If you perform, if you learn how to do things the proper way, if you learn how to load things and progress things the proper way, then you'll significantly reduce your chance of getting injured in the gym. But you know, they happen. Injuries happen to everybody, everywhere, in and out of the gym. So the fact that it is any more dangerous than any other type of exercise activity is false. And in fact, there's plenty of data to support the huge benefits of strength training, from injury reduction. So we know strength training is very helpful in reducing the chance of repetitive use injuries, which is the most common injury we see in golf. As well as it provides a robustness and a resiliency in your tissues that allows them to, over time, tolerate more stress that could be put on the body in anything you do. So if you ever go to a doctor, a medical provider, a fitness professional, and they tell you that strength training or heavy lifting, heavy resistance training is dangerous for you, then I suggest you find another provider immediately, because there's zero evidence to support that thought and that idea. Number 2 is the idea that strength training will reduce flexibility. Again, zero evidence to support this idea, and the reality is if you strength train and resistance train through a full range of motion, not only will it not hurt your flexibility, but it will help it. Strength training alone does not significantly reduce flexibility or reduce flexibility at all, especially if you were supplementing that with some mobility, some full range of motion training through your joints and through your muscles. So, you know, for the golfers I work with, strength training is a big part of our programs, but we're also doing mobility. We're also swinging the club. We're also, you know, working through full ranges of motion of all our joints and our warm-ups and things like that. So we're constantly taking our body through that full range of motion. So as long as you're doing that, there is zero risk of lifting heavy and it hurting your flexibility or your range of motion, regardless of your age or your level or anything else. Number 3 is strength training will wear down or damage joints. Again, when done properly, when coached properly, when loaded properly and educated properly, strength training is at no higher risk than any other activity for this. I've worked with clients with severe arthritis, with post-total joint replacements, post-spinal fusions, and all of them have been able to tolerate strength training. I've worked with clients up into their 80s and 90s, and again, all of them have been able to tolerate some level of heavy, to them, resistance training, safely, without pain, without issue, without risk. So the important part of this is, for whoever you're working with, you know, is to assess you, understand your individual needs, your history, your background, and learn how to modify and put in the types of lifts and program and weights and progressions that will work for you. So generically or generally, you might have some issues with certain movements or certain ranges of motion, and so a good coach, PT, fitness professional, whoever you're working with, will understand that and understand how to program the right things for you. Number 4 is light weights, higher reps, or body weight exercises better as you age. Realistically, again, this is false. Now, if you are coming out of nowhere at very low level, very deconditioned, then you may have to start in these areas. But the reality is the goal is still to progress to heavier weight, lower weight rep movements, at least for some of your exercises. At all ages, strength training is safe. There's no evidence to show that strength training in kids and junior golfers affects growth or inhibits growth or negatively affects growth plates or increased risk of injury. Again, working with the right coach, the right program, the right progressions, it can be perfectly safe. Now, I don't think it's below certain ages it's a necessary thing. At some point it's just playing different sports and being a kid. But, when they get to 12, 13, 14, perfectly safe to start training with some weight and learning how to perform the movements properly. And as you age, so even though 70, 80, 90, again, frailty, debility, falls, disability are all huge determinants in quality of life at that age. And one of the biggest things we can do is to maintain and reduce the loss of muscle mass, the loss of strength, the loss of power in those individuals. And the way we do that is by again, relative heavy to them. Strength training is part of that. So doing your higher reps, lower reps, there's no such thing as lengthening muscles or toning muscles. If you have a fat loss goal, still the biggest benefit for you is going to do some heavy strength training, maybe add in a little cardio, and more importantly, watch your caloric intake. That's still going to be the biggest part of that. So having a base around heavy strength training is going to benefit you regardless of your goals, of your age, of your background. Lastly is the idea that I'm too old, I'm too weak, it's too late. Again, I've started people in their 70s and 80s on a strength training program that have never done it before. I've started people that can, I've had people come to me in a wheelchair, essentially bed bound or chair bound, that we've built up strength training programs. The lady that I still work with, not a golfer, just a PT patient of mine that moved over to fitness and wellness that's been working with me for 5 years. And she came to me unable to stand, unable to walk. Now we do squats, we do push-ups, we do deadlifts, we do strength exercises that are challenging to her. Now we're doing it to keep her from going back to that level. So regardless of the level, if you have the right coach, the right PT, or the right professional, they can understand where to start you and how to challenge you. It may be body weight, it may be modified ranges of motion, and then they understand how to progress that safely to limit any risk of injury or pain or things like that. So understand that as a golfer, if you want to improve your distance, your swing speed, if you want to reduce the risk of injury, if you want to stay on the course, especially if you want to improve the longevity, play and enjoy the game well into your years, if you want to be able to play 36 holes or back-to-back days without limitation, strength training and heavy strength training needs to be a part of your program. I don't care if you have a history of back pain or injuries or never done it before, or you're a junior or you're elderly, whatever that may be. If you find the right coach, they will understand how to work that into your program and to benefit you, to keep you performing at the highest possible level, to keep you safe and reduce that injury risk, and to keep you active both on and off the course. And those for just general population, because I do have some clients that I work with, their goal is to stay in any activity. It may be gardening, it may be woodworking, it may be traveling, it may be playing with their grandkids or kids, whatever that may be. Strength training will keep your bones strong, will keep your muscles strong, will give you the strength and power you need to get up and down off the ground, out of chairs, climb stairs, carry suitcases, carry groceries, get things in and out of high shelves, those things that we need to do on a day-to-day regimen to keep us independent, to keep us healthy, to keep us safe, as well as to perform at a high level in any sport. So hopefully this is helpful. Understand that, strength training is perfectly safe for you at any age, at any level, with injuries, post-surgery, whatever that may be. Find the right coach, find the right professional that will know how to work that with you based on your background, based on your history, based on your goals. But, you know, for anyone that just wants to be a functional, capable human being, you need to be doing some relatively heavy, lower rep strength training as part of your program. If you have any questions for me, you can reach out to me at johnpaul@guidrypt.com. I offer, like I said, online and in-person coaching programs where I help golfers and non-golfers alike improve their performance, improve their health, improve their function on and off the course, get out of pain, and return back to golf and any other activities that they love.